Do you think you need to have a longer backswing to play good golf, to get the big distances, to get the consistency? Are you perhaps fighting your body or always trying to get more rotation, a longer backswing, because you think that's the way to better golf? Well, I'm here to tell you that if your body or your brain or whatever is not agreeing to that philosophy, there is good news. And I'm going to show you how, with just a couple of adjustments, you can hit very, perhaps even better golf shots with a short backswing. Let's find out how. All right, so let's just sort of summarize the issue of trying to make a longer backswing. We've done another video on this where we talk about the importance of winding up, okay? And we've got a short backswing sort of move, but I'm gonna give a very simple factor that I think is gonna make all the difference for you, okay? So if you're trying to make a big backswing, right? No matter if you're a senior golfer or whatever, this can be difficult because oftentimes we lift the shoulders up, we don't have enough tilt, okay? Tilt in the golf swing is very important because it basically neutralizes the variables. If we're trying to turn, what happens a lot is that we wind up, we stand up and come out of it. The sort of head moves because we're trying to get the club all the way up here, so we lift up, all right? That is a long way to come back down perfectly every time. I mean, no one's going to do it perfectly, but you know what I mean. There is a better way, there is an easier way. So whether you're trying to do that or you know, you're perfectly physically able, I guess I mean. But maybe your body is just kind of getting to here and it's a bit stuffed. And what your swing will end up looking like is, if you do have a short backswing, okay, you're going to look something like, where it's kind of like a bit stabby, right? It's almost like a shove rather than a swing. And it might look something like this, okay? Do either of those two golf swings feel or look a bit similar to you? Let me know below, because if it does, this lesson might transform you overnight. So we don't want either of those, right? What do we do instead? All I want you to do in this lesson is think about, you know, we've got a good setup, we've got a brace setup, we've got tilt here. The move we're going to do is two things. First, we're going to move the left chest down this way, okay? All right, we're moving it down that way. What that's going to do is give us the correct angles to be able to come back through. I'm not going to bore you with the details, just trust me, it really helps, okay? It's called tilting in the swing. And if you stand there, actually, you know what? Stand out the chair. Do this with me. Shorten this space from the shoulders to the hips as we go back. Because if I just turn from this position, that's what happens. And if I only go this way, all right, I've got no sort of turn or backswing at all. So we have to try and combine those two moves where I'm tilting and then sort of turning just a little bit, okay? I'm winding up. This is being pulled up. That's going down. It's kind of like being pulled and pushed at the same time, where it's like this. But that's going to give you the structure of a backswing that you want, and then we just sort of reverse the move to come back down. A little bit stack and tilt, I guess, but like, I'm not a certified coach or anything, but the tilt in the swing, which is this angle here, all right, we don't want to be up. We just want to have it more or less pointing straight back down at the ball and reversing that sequence. It has to involve this going down. And really, even if you try and emphasize going down that way, you're not going to overdo it for the most part, all right? So I talk about it a lot because it is so important. We don't want to be trying manipulating the wrists and the hands. We cannot do that consistently. We have to allow the weight of the club to assist us. And we want to just really start momentum and movement guided by the larger body parts, okay? To allow the hands, the club to flow with freedom to garnish speed, effortless speed. And it really does feel that way when you get this right. The way we're going to build this up We've got that sensation, right, of the tilting down. But what do? If we're kind of a bit rigid like this, you're kind of like, that's a bit rigid, okay? Yes, you want the leg to straighten. We've got a video on that. But the main point of this lesson is, coupled with the tilting on the backswing, you are going to actually not hinge the wrists at all. You're not going to manipulate the wrists. You're not going to do a damn thing with them. But here's the thing, you have to have a firm grip, okay? But be supple in the wrists, supple in the forearms, right? That's key, because we're going to emphasize this to begin with. Because what we're going to do is, we're not going to hinge the wrist, because if we're doing a short swing like this, okay, the only real way, because the pressure points and movement, we're going to end up sort of dumping the club like this. We don't want that, right? We want to have flow and lag, because that's the way we're going to have this swing work. Because more people need to sort of reverse their golf swing. Too many people will like hinge the wrist first and then sort of unhinge and sort of push it through that way. It's costing literally 10-20 yards like that, okay, and hitting fat shots, and hitting it behind the ball. So we need to reverse it. So we're going to practice this by setting up with 60% on the front foot, a little bit more of a narrower stance, okay? We're going to grip down the club. I've just got an 8-iron here. And what we're going to do is, with the same feeling on the backswing, I'm actually going to allow the hands, the butt of the club here, to pass the club on the takeaway. And I'm not going to do anything, right? Because I'm so soft in the forearms here, I'm just going to allow momentum to fold those wrists where they want. If they don't fold really till here, that's fine, because here's the key. This is where the energy comes from. We're going to allow that movement to come back with the pressure of the feet, and I'm standing back up that way. So I'm transferring the weight and I'm pulling the hips back. It's as simple as that kind of movement here, all right? But we're really allowing the weight of the club, the length of the club, momentum to do so much more for us than trying to force it. That's so important. And it's going to look something like this to begin with. And I want you to just start with some pitched shots, some chip shots, okay? So I'm tilting on the way back, but I'm allowing very supple wrists here to there. And you see how it eventually sort of catches up, all right? I've got momentum starting. I push forward, I push back. The weight is on the inside, and I allow momentum just to get to here. And then as soon as I get to here, as soon as I get to halfway back, I'm thinking about moving back towards the target, just as I would if I was throwing a ball. And if you want to practice that, just throw a ball underhand and see how that feels, okay? Skip a stone, whatever. But this is the key. So even just from this short movement here, allowing the wrist to loll around, we can get a ton of speed. And that was barely a pitch shot, okay? And just because I know where I am on the yardage, I've got 160, and that went just front edge of the green. So that's an 8-iron swinging practically halfway. And you might think, oh, bully for you, whatever. I'm not trying to show off. I'm just showing you that even with a teeny tiny swing, right, we can gather plenty, more than enough swing speed by doing those two things. Chest down and very soft wrists, allowing momentum to gather the flow and commit to a finish. That's it. It's about from here to here. That's where it counts. It's not about what you're doing with the wrist here, okay? Because you'll find that even if you can't make much of a backswing, make much of a turn, whatever you can do, even to here, you can commit and get better at that contact, get better at the strike, get better at the speed that you do, and put the energy, the focus, right? From here to here, not from here to here so much. Don't worry about that. So as we swing back here, as soon as I get to here, I'm transferring my energy back down that way and out of the way. That's it. I'm sort of pulling through. I'm pushing down and then slinging through. And you can even just practice tiny little shots there, right? Tiny little backswing, effective results. All right, so I'm actually in the rough for a reason, because I wanted to give a extra little test and practice move for you, because I don't want you to make it about a ball. All we're trying to do is swish through the grass, but this is about flow and momentum. Okay, so as we do this short sort of swing, we're going to actually practice moving from one side to the other without swaying. All we're doing is transferring our energy on our feet. Okay, the feeling is going to be weight in the ball and the back of the foot to go back, right? And then we transfer into the front of the lead foot to pull through. Then it's back to the heel again. Then it's back to the heel again. Okay, that's the sequence. All right, I'll run through it again. So we start heel, toe, heel. That's the sort of connection to the ground and the flow. But what we want is the timing of it, okay? Because we don't want to plant and then we don't want to be planting at the same time as we swing, because that's where that shove comes from. It's this movement that we're after, okay? So as we plant the foot, the arms swing back, and just as they get to here, we apply the pressure to the front foot again. So it's this movement, okay? There, backwards and forwards, there. Seeing the way to the club, pull us through. There's a sequence to it, okay? And we're just brushing this grass. And that's why I want you to practice without a ball first. So we step, we plant, we move, we shift. It's this movement here. It's like a feeling with a towel or something like that to give you that kind of flowing momentum, all right? You do that from a short backswing and practice here and allow that flow, that energy. That's going to give you the secret sauce, all right? And there we have it. A very imperfect but effective golf swing that I was demonstrating for you there. But what is perfect? It's something that works, that gives you the strikes that you don't have to think about too much, that doesn't put strain on your body, that doesn't make you think you have to be or do anything different, okay? Make the most of what you've got, get better at doing it, and trust it, and commit and go for it, all right? Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know below. And there is a really good series that's free that you can check out in the link below as well, all right? I'll see you next time.